Hello everyone, my name is Saksham Dikshit and this is my channel Pentest Diary. So today I'll make another video on the same series of Docker container security, and in this third video itself I'll try to give it you an idea about the container technologies, and other than that I'll give you an idea about the OCI itself. What actually the OCI, like definitely when we're talking about any standard itself, like if we're talking about any technology, it's having a backbone. Like I can say that it's a standards be there itself, so that on the basis of that you will try to get it configure, you will try to get it manage the stuffs in multiple vendors itself. So taking example, earlier there is a situation like everyone having their own unique method over there itself. For the Docker itself, it's creating a problem to make it working for everyone. So that was the reason OCI will be get it on innovate over there itself to overcome the problem of it, and anyone can utilize it very easily, the images which is shared by someone else itself. So that we try to get it covered in this video itself. And other than that, what are the, if we're talking about the content technology, what are the benefits which we already discussed about it. But the thing is that we just try to understand the what are the popular container technology which is present in the market itself right now, which is utilizing the market use cases. We are talking about it once again. So I know it, like in my previous video also I've explained about the use cases, but at that time we are talking about the comparison between the VM and the container itself. Over here itself we are talking about only purely about the technology of the container itself and how the use cases of it, and then what is the future of it, that we talk about it. Different kind of technology, it's a similar like that, but we just have to see like what are the different type of thing in a cloud and everywhere itself, it's present over there itself. Then we talk about the OCI. It's a open container initiatives, like it will make the standards and everything to be in place itself. By that way everything will be beneficial for the customers, and now the users can use Dockers very easily instead of like having a pain like when you are using some different type of technologies, I'm using different type of technologies. So in that case it's creating a difference, it's making a bridge in between of multiple technologies and everyone is on the same page. Now after once the OCI is formed, then this container utilizing a container at your end itself and multiple across multiple sections for it, it's a bit easy as it's bridge multiple technology at the same place itself. So by that way you can utilize the images at any form itself, any form in the context, like any platform we can utilize it very easily. So that's the impact. We just want to get it, understand benefit of OCI standards, we try to get it cover, and then the final thing is the looking forward. Okay, so now let me start with this first section for it. So let me see, like we have talked about a lot about so far container technologies a lot so far. So but still I'm just explaining you why this is a third lecture itself, and this is a theory part. Now from the next lecture onwards you will get a practical section for it. I will provide you the commands, how exactly what are the commands we require to get a trigger, just to get the check, the push, pull and everything. I'll try to get it covered from the next video itself. This is the theory part. I know it's bit a way like every time you are seeing the theory, but the thing is that this is not only for the advanced version, it's for the beginners also. They are not aware about the containers very well, so I just want them to make them understand about it first, about the containers and everything, so that at the time when they're proceeding further and they are trying to grasp the commands and everything and try to get it compare in an enterprise environment, then in that case it's a bit easy for them to understand that, instead of just understanding the container. Like if I'll just give it a one liner statement of the container and then after that I'll provide the commands, that bit easy. I can make it in 30 minutes everything to be get it covered in one video itself. But the problem is that that will be feasible for those guys who are already be working in that domain itself. They can able to understand faster, but the person who is not aware about these things, I'm making the tutorial for them only so that they can able to understand from the scratch and then they reach to the higher level itself. So these are the few things which you have to get it understand, and then after that we are proceeding further with in the next video we are going with the next section for it, where we are seeing the actual practical section for it. Okay, so let me explain you about it. What are the containers technologies? What actually is a container technology? So container technology are a set of tools and the practices for packaging and isolating the application in standardized unit called container. So when we are talking about it, like container itself, it's a it's a tools and the packages and the isolating the application in standard, which we already discussed about it, isolating in the context of the user space itself, that we call it as a container itself. These containers bundle the application code, its dependency, libraries, binaries, configuration files, and the minimal operating system environment, allowing the application to run consistently across different computing environment. So that's also one of the major reason behind it. Container technology is most popular right now in the enterprise environment, as it's having, like, it's utilizing a minimal I can say that hardware operating system environment, minimal one, and the thing is that it's utilizing whatever the host kernel you have it, that to be get it shared in between of multiple containers, and it contains the application code, its dependency, libraries, binaries, configuration file, everything is coming under the one package cell. And that was a small file, you can use it at anywhere. I'll send it to the person and that person can deploy it and can run that server or container in a minute itself. That's I can say that a miracle type of thing. Earlier that's not feasible, like you have to build that server from the scratch, you have to install the operating system, then you have to put the dependency, then you have going further with that itself and get it done. So that's a time consuming. So now it's a bit easy for us to make that, and feasible for us and portable also for us. Benefits we already talked about it in my previous video itself, so if I'll put it over here itself, as we are talking about the container technology, that was the reason I have put it once again for you. You can able to read that. I'm not covering once again, it's already be covered in my last video when I'm comparing the VM with the containers itself. Now talking about the technologies, what the technologies are available in the market itself, and is it only a Docker is the technology is available in the market, or others are also be there itself? So we are talking about the Docker, which we have called a lot. Kubernetes is also one of the technology which is available in the market itself. Podman is one of the technology, CRIO and container is one of the technologies. So these are the 5 one. I'm not telling you these are the only 5 one. Others also we have it in the market itself, but I am just nominating only 5 right now. So Docker is bit clear. Like if I'll talk about the Docker itself, the most widely used container platform is the Docker itself. Dockers offer a user-friendly interface and a vast ecosystem of the tools for building, managing, deploying containerized application. So it's having a bigger repository, as it was a starting point itself. It's having a bigger repository. You can clone, like whenever you try to clone any container itself, it's available in their repository, so you can pull it out very easily. So that was the reason it's most widely be popular across the whole container section for it. That was the reason Docker is the first choice for most of the cases. Now talking about the Kubernetes. So Kubernetes is an open source system for automating the containers, deployment, scaling and management. Kubernetes, I can say that a containerized application across clusters of machine, making it a deal for a complex deployment. So when we're talking about the complex deployment itself, we are preferring with the Kubernetes. So it just for the automating the containers deployment, like just to get it automate the deployment, like we wanted 100 containers to be get deployed, so we can do that with the Kubernetes. It's in an automated way, and for the complex deployment itself we can utilize the Kubernetes. So that was the purpose of it. So every vendor having a different type of favorable point and cons and the pro itself. So on the basis of that, our requirement itself, we are preferring further with that. Now talking about the Podman. It's an open source lightweight alternative of the Docker itself for building and running the containers. It's similar like a Docker itself, but it's a lightweight. That was the reason we can utilize whenever there is a need of it. We can utilize the Podman also. I'm just giving a one-liner about it. If you want, if you're quite interested to learn more about these Kubernetes, Dockers I'm covering up, other than the Podman, CRIO and container, then in that case you have to go to their documentation, just read about it, what are the things and how it is different from it a lot. This is just for one liner. It's not, I'm not able to cover each and everything. If I'll just try to cover everything in one video, it's difficult for you to understand that. That was the reason behind it. So Podman is clear. Now talking about the CRIO. So it's a runtime for container images, often used for the conjunction with the Kubernetes. That's clear about it. It's a runtime for the container images. It's a runtime for the container images, often used in conjunction with the Kubernetes. So it's just coming in between of that itself. You are utilizing in the Kubernetes also. Even this is having a repository type of thing where we have the container images we present itself, and for the beneficial of the Kubernetes, we are utilizing it. So that was one of the things, CRI-O. Now talking about the container. So what exactly is a low-level container runtime that provides the core functionality for managing container images and their execution. So this is also one of the thing I can say, that it's having a core functionality just to managing the container image. So container images is most important, and this is also, I can say, that responsible to get it execution also, for the execution of it also. So that's are the two things which is coming under the category of this. Repository is most important, where you are pulling that. Like example, if you want to deploy a Kali on a Docker, then in that case it's bit easy. You simply have to fire the command of the Docker, just search for a Kali itself, you can pull out. They have the image repository over there itself, you can pull it out. If you want to install Parrot OS, Ubuntu OS, so anything you can get it deployed over there itself in case of Docker itself. So those images, I can say container images which is present over there itself, it's get it core functionality just to get it manage that. That's coming under the category of this. Now talking about the use cases for the container technologies. Not bit complicated itself, similar like that which we have discussed at the time of that differences when we are talking about with the VM. Microservices architecture is one of the thing, cloud native development is also one of the thing, continuous integration, CI/CD pipeline, that's most important at the time of the DevSecOps. We are talking about CI/CD pipeline everywhere, so that's also one of the thing we are utilizing a container over there itself, and high performance computing. So these are the 4 use cases where we are utilizing the container technologies a lot. Talking about the microservices architecture, a containers are ideal for building and deploying microservices application where each service is a self-contained unit. So that was the reason it's utilized, container technology get utilized in the microservices architecture also. Talking about the cloud native development itself, so containerized applications are well suited for a cloud environment, offering portability and scalability across different cloud providers. So taking example, you have one container in GCP, one you have it in AWS, one in Azure itself. So it's providing a compatibility, like wheresoever you have it in any other cloud vendors also, you can get it utilized, you can use it at any cloud vendor. Nothing like that you can't use it in other vendors itself. So that was one of the favorable point we can utilize in other cloud vendors also, instead of just stick with one vendor. Okay, going further with the CI/CD pipeline, it's favorable for the developers mainly, I can say that. So containers streamline CI/CD pipeline by ensuring a consistent environment for building, testing, deploying application. So whenever the application, earlier it was application build, then it's going to the development phase, and then it's going to testing phase, get it done, then again the patching will be get it done. Now going in the CI/CD pipeline, what actually is happening, it's a continuous process of the testing. Small modules will be get it generated, and we are working in that zone itself just to get it test each and every section for it. So instead of going in the final stage, then we have to test it and then we have to recode it, it's far better we are going with each and every module itself and coming under the CI/CD pipeline, where we try to automate everything over there, so that we are getting the test and the test based assessments to be get it conducted very easily. So SAS is especially be over there itself, source code also is one of the things we can do it very easily over there. So that was the reason we are deploying in such a way where we can utilize container technologies in CI/CD pipeline also, so that we can improve the productivity in case of application development itself and high performance computing, HPC. So in case of container technology can be used to package and deploy a scientific application for parallel processing and the HPC cluster. So that's also one of the things where we required high performance over there itself. We are preferring with that container technologies itself. Okay, now what actually we have heard about a lot of container technology. What's the future of it? Like whether is this is this already reached to the highest point, or is there any future we are seeing in the container technology in the future itself? Like whatever the point we have achieved in 2024, whether is there any future in the container or not. So container technologies are constantly evolving with advancement in securities, networking capabilities, as container adoption continues to grow, we can expect even more innovation use cases and a significant impact on how applications are built, deployed and managed in the future itself. So that is the core crunch of it in the future itself. Right now we have achieved a lot of things, but in the future itself we'll try to cover other sections also. We try to cover the security, networking and these type of capabilities. We'll try to get it developed more, so that we can reach to that level, which like whatever the level in the container we have reached now, it's not up to the mark itself which you're looking for it. As per the VM, we are getting more privileges, we are getting more security over there itself. That type of security we have to be get it developed in case of Docker also. That was the reason these domains, these subsections, we have to work a lot on it. So that's coming under the category of the future itself. When in a future itself these things will be fulfilled, then definitely these loopholes will be getting over, and Docker is definitely become a boom technology in all the phases itself. Security consideration, container orchestration and comparison with the VMs itself. So these are the main zones itself where we are trying to get it conclude the stuffs about in the future. We wanted that in all the phases it will be excel. Docker technology will be get it excel in all the fields, so that it bit easy for us to utilize it, and instead of spending a lot of money on our hardware appliances, we have to go ahead with the Docker itself. Even for a critical application, even for the banking application, financial application itself, or I can if I'll say that cronjol application, so in that case also we can utilize a Docker in the future itself, as we have a stability over there itself. That was the reason behind it. If I'll talk about the different container technology, definitely we have already talked about it. Amazon Elastic Container Service is one of the thing. If I'll talk about the Docker platform, Google Container Engine, Azure Container Instances and OpenShift Container Platform, right? So these are the different container technology we have it right now available in the market itself. So that's all about it. Now the next section of the video itself, now we talk about the open container initiatives. Let me give a minute. So this is basically a standardized the container landscape. This is utilized only for defining a proper standards for the container. So earlier container having a different, as I already in the initial phase of this video I talk about it, like initially it's having a no standard. So that was the reason any organization is doing their way itself, the stuffs. They do not want to make a state stuffs in such a way where it will utilize in multiple inter technologies itself and even in multiple vendors also. So that was one of the thing OCI will be I can say introduced in a market, and by that way itself the problem of utilizing in a multiple vendors, it will be solved. They have make the bridge on in between of multiple vendors, so that we can utilize the images in other vendors also, instead of just get it required only for same vendors to be get it deploy the images. Talking about the Docker based images, we can utilize only in the Docker. No, nothing like that. In the future aspect itself we can utilize that in such a way. So earlier that's not happening, but using the OCI, once OCI is introduced in the market, then after that the standards will be get defined and everyone will have to follow the standards. So now a lot of theory about it. The Open Container Initiatives OCI is a I can say a collaborative effort within the Linux Foundation that aims to establish open industry standards for container formats and runtime, founded in 2015 by the Docker and other industry leaders. So it's not only with the Docker itself, it's coming like other vendors also be getting involved in it. So OCI having become a vital organization in ensuring the interoperability and the portability of the container technologies across different vendors and the platform. Okay, that is the most important line. They wanted that it should be, this technology should be get it access across different vendors and the platforms. That's most important. That was the reason we have reached to that level. Otherwise, if it stick with the vendor wise, it's creating a problem for us. Everyone should have to use the same vendor, and if anyone is working on different vendor itself, they can't utilize that. So there is no cross platform type of thing is available earlier, but now it's available over there itself. OCI, you can get the details about it. Why OCI? So prior to OCI, container technologies lacked a unified standard. Docker, a dominant player, had its own container images format and runtime. While Docker's technologies were widely used, its limited portability and the flexibility for the user who might want to use alternative tools. So that's creating a problem for the user, that it's having a limitation and there is no alternative tools for it. So the person either we use the Docker only, there is no other possibility for it. OCI emerged to address this issue by creating an open specification for it. Now container image format is cleared by the OCI, it's created by them, and the container runtime specification. These two things will be getting defined by the OCI. So the OCI image specification defines a common format for the container images. This ensures that the images created with one tool and can be run by any OCI compliant container runtime. So it doesn't matter whether it's created by whatever the vendor is it, like it can be utilized by any container can run that. So that was a standard they have made it in case of image format. So image can be built by anyone and can be utilized by anywhere itself. Any runtime container itself can utilize it. Talking about the container runtime specification, the OCI runtime specification outline how a container runtime should interact with container images and manage the life cycle of containers. This allowed different vendors to develop containers runtime that adhered to the OCI standard. So they are forcefully be working in such a, whatever the standards get defined by the OCI, they have to work in that section so that everything to be get bridged and the user experience will be increased instead of just get a decrease. So that was a main motive of the OCI itself. Benefits of OCI standard. So I know a lot of theories over here itself. I don't like much theory, but I wanted that to be get covered just to make you understand about it before proceeding further with the practical part in the next video. Now portability, we have talked about it earlier also in the context of the container technology. So portability, interoperability, vendor, I can say that it's a vendor neutrality and the innovation. So these are the three benefits which we are seeing inside of the OCI. Once the OCI is getting introduced in the market, then after that these things are a benefit we are getting it. Impact of OCI. The impact of the OCI, I can say that in the container landscape a lot. So impact not in a bad way, but I'm talking about like what are the things, like rise of the container orchestration tools are getting increased, like tools like Kubernetes which rely on OCI standards have become essential for managing a complex deployment of the containerized application. That's coming under the rise of the container orchestration tools itself. That's coming under that category for it, just because of that OCI. Growth of the container adoption. So OCI standards have played a key role in the widespread adoption of container technologies by ensuring portability and interoperability. OCI has made containers a more reliable and secure option for the business. So that's coming under the category of the adoption of it. Once it's getting introduced in the market, the growth in the container and the security is coming under that category of it, and secure option will be preferred with that. So now diversion, I can say the diversification of containers tool. The availability of the OCI complaint tools from various vendors provides user more choice and flexibility in their container workflow. So that's also like flexibility. If we are providing the user will definitely utilize it in multiple vendors container sections for it. Okay. Now what we are looking for, that's our final thing about it. So what we are looking forward for, the OCI continues to evolve, working an additional specification to address emerging needs in the container ecosystem. With its commitment to open standard, OCI will well positioned to ensure the continued growth and the success of container technologies in the year to come. So what I mean by that itself, like this is not the thing which is innovated so far. They're continuously working for that section to make the experience of the user more friendly for it. They want to bridge all those issues which user is facing right now. They're trying to overcome those problems. Like I can say the isolation problem is one of the things which we have discussed in the last video itself. That's also most important, which they're trying to work on it for the security point of view, so that isolation not only on a user level, even we just wanted that if any container is getting impacted by any vulnerability or any major crisis will be happening with one container, it do not get it impact to the other container present on the same section for it. I do not want that thing. So that's coming under the category later phase itself. They are working for it, they try to get it sorted out faster. Okay, so I think I'll try my best to cover all the theory part so far in the 3 lectures so far. And I think like a base is already been generated for you itself. There is not much thing for the theory, but these things should be aware about it. Like if anyone asks you about it, you have done with a series of Docker container security itself, and you're not aware about what is Kubernetes and these things about it. That was the reason behind I tried to get it covered, why these things are getting introduced in the market, why OCI, wheresoever we are pulling the repositories, we are pulling the images, why the images are present over there, who are maintaining it, everything I'll try to get it covered. So that was the reason. Now it's bit clear to you, like from where we are getting the images and everything about it. Now in the next video itself, we'll see the practical section for it. We'll see the commands, how to get it, run the commands, how to pull the images, how to run it, how to get it, stop that containers, everything I'll try to get it covered in the next video itself. So definitely you will like the next video itself. And this is just a theory part. Okay, so thank you so much. If you like this video, please subscribe my channel. This is take a lot of effort to make this content. So please like this video and subscribe my channel. Take care. Bye bye.